What you've just witnessed was the detainment and effective disappearance of Columbia University student and lawful permanent U.S. resident Mohsen Madawi, moments before he was slated to complete his citizenship process at this Immigration Services Center in Colchester, Vermont. Instead of taking the citizenship test after living in the country for the previous 10 years, leaving the refugee camp in the West Bank where he grew up, Makdawi was instead whisked away to an undisclosed detention facility with little hope of ever becoming a naturalized citizen while the current administration remains in power. Taken into state custody for exercising his free speech rights by plainclothes, Homeland Security investigations officers wearing masks and driving unmarked cars to hide their identities, this chilling act of fascism unfolded in broad daylight and follows the same blueprint we've seen from the Trump administration's crackdown on anyone they perceive to be a threat to so-called national security and our foreign policy goals, regardless of how immoral those objectives are in practice.
You guys covering your faces? You want to take those masks off?
Just weeks ago, we covered this footage, obtained and released by independent investigative journalist Daniel Boguslaw of Tufts University student Rumeysa Öztürk's detainment by, you guessed it, masked, plainclothes ICE agents in unmarked cars.
Is this a kidnapping? Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces? Can I see some faces here? How do I know this is the police? Seems like to me. Certainly looks like it. Bit of a kidnapping going on here?
Since being taken into ICE custody, Öztürk has been transferred from Massachusetts all the way to Louisiana, again without any evidence of her committing a crime. Öztürk was also lawfully present in the country on an F1 student visa and, just like Makdawi and Mahmoud Khalil, is being targeted for her support of the Palestinian people and for criticizing the actions of the Israeli government.
What? You're going to be under arrest. So turn around.
Okay,
Stop
let's
resisting.
not.
Stop resisting.
Okay, he's not resisting. He's giving me his phone, okay? He's not, I understand, he's not resisting.
Put your arm down.
Like,
There's no need for this.
Don't worry about it. You're going to have to come with us. Don't worry.
I'm coming with you, don't worry.
No one's resisting, no one's getting worked up.
you guys really don't need to be doing all of that.
It's fine, it's fine. It's fine. Come on.
حبيبي كيف بدي اتصل فيك؟
Take Amy. Call Amy. She'll be
Okay. Hi, Amy. Yeah, they just like handcuffed him and took him. I don't know what to do.
Whenever you watch any of this footage of pro-Palestine protesters and suspected undocumented immigrants, just know that the fear and panic heard in Khalil's wife's voice are one of the main objectives of these detainments. They want us, U.S. citizens or not, to be intimidated into silence and passively accept that what we're seeing here is the new normal, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Can we get a name, please? Can we get your name? I understand the lawyer is asking for your name.
Go over there. No, we don't give our names.
The lawyer's asking for your name. He's saying they don't give their names.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They'll be taken to immigration custody at 26 Federal Plaza.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
They'll be taken to immigration custody at 26 Federal Plaza.
She said they're taking him to 26 Federal Plaza.
In December of 2023, Mohsen Madawi, the student activist we saw in handcuffs at the start of this piece, was interviewed by 60 Minutes and wholeheartedly denounced anti-Semitism and all other forms of bigotry, correctly highlighting that all forms of discrimination, bigotry, and marginalization directly conflict with Palestinian liberation. But I guess that's not sufficient enough to satisfy the Trump admin's cynical, false claim that they're legitimately concerned about fighting anti-Semitism in the U.S.
What do you want people to hear from you in the case that you are detained?
I want people to know that my compassion extended beyond the Palestinian people. my compassion is also for the Jewish people and for the Israelis as well. The accusation that the pro-Palestine movement at Columbia was anti-Semitic is a false accusation.
Makdawi gave this interview to CBS literally one day before his arrest, making it crystal clear to any reasonable person grounded in reality that he was detained not for inciting violence, but rather for not showing sufficient loyalty to the government of Israel and daring to criticize the sheer barbarity our tax dollars have been funding, barbarity that he experienced firsthand growing up in the West Bank, yet still has the moral clarity to show empathy and compassion for the people of the occupying force.
Okay, this is critically important for people to understand. He's been accused of no crime, went in for his final citizenship interview. It seems like this was possibly a ruse to get him to show up, then arrested upon his arrival. And again, I want people to understand these were masked, hooded men in plain clothes with an unmarked van handcuffing him. This is not the America I think many of us thought we lived in. And he was not afforded the ability to speak to his attorney right away. He was not afforded due process, the court of law. He's being attacked because of free speech. This should terrify every single person living in this country, regardless of your citizenship status.
Vermont Representative Becca Ballant delivered this much-needed and passionate defense of Makdawi, hammering home the point that the more we as a society let Marco Rubio and the rest of the Trump admin get away with violating constitutional rights like they have been, the more it puts all of us at risk of forfeiting our rights as well. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
And they do not seem to understand that their stance on this is a threat to Americans everywhere. They are using talking points from this administration that are based in lies, and they don't seem to care the damage that they are doing, certainly to these individual men and women who are being detained and disappeared, but more broadly to our Constitution and the system of government that we have here. Anyone within the borders of the United States are entitled to due process. And so it is critically important that we as Americans, regardless of party, stand up for all of these students who are being detained, all of these professors and people who are simply speaking their minds who are being detained, that this is not in accordance with what our government stands for. And it is chilling to the bone to have somebody say, we are just following orders. That is what they said in Nazi Germany. That is what people said when they were listening to the Gestapo. This has got to stop. This is Trump creating his own army of brown shirts right here in our country.
We couldn't have said it better ourselves. The playbook has been clear to anyone paying attention well before the second Trump admin. And what we're witnessing now is, sadly, the logical conclusion of right-wing policies steeped in fear and bigotry and directly funded by the billionaire ruling class.
Well, I grew up in Romania until the age of 12. My parents were survivors of the Romanian Holocaust. And when Mahmoud Khalil was abducted, when Rumeza Öztürk was abducted, and I watched those videos, it brought back these feelings of terror that I grew up with as a child, the helplessness in front of seemingly all-powerful forces that couldn't be stopped, that were arbitrary, and that had only the barest rationale for, or no rationale for, these arrests.
Professor Marianne Hirsch, who herself lived through authoritarianism in Romania, sees the parallels unfolding in front of us, just like Representative Ballant.
I think there are people who are now seeing, Jerry Nadler is a great example, that this might not have been such a good idea because it's brought upon us this terrible repression under the guise of fighting anti-Semitism. And I think people are now saying that this is not just morally completely wrong and corrupt, but that it's also not good for Jews, certainly, but it's not good for anybody, and that the reason for this was never to fight anti-Semitism, but it was to decimate academia.
If you do anything today, please watch the full interviews with Representative Becca Bowent and Professor Marianne Hirsch on Democracy Now!'s channel at the links in the description box below. We need powerful voices like theirs now more than ever as we stare down a constitutional crisis and the crumbling of whatever is left of American democracy. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.